Hi, it's Chris with Chris Loves Crochet and Crochet Recreations, and today I'm going to show you how to make this scarf wrap sweater. Okay. And you can wear it lots of different ways. This is a pretty long thing here in the center, so I'm going to try to pull these off my arms. Ugh. And you can wear it like a scarf, like that. And then the sleeves, see if you can see it, the sleeves just kind of hang down. Or if you're really cold and you're going outside and it's not just to keep you warm inside, maybe you could wrap it around one more time. See if this chokes me. It's gonna choke me. And just have a nice big cowl with your sleeves, the cuffs that are on there to hold it all together. So there's that way too. Now you can make this with any kind of yarn, and you'll see how I do it. And so let's get started. So we can do that. We can have a scarf up here and just a chest warmer down here. Let's see if we fold it down. Yeah, like that. Let's see if we can do that. So there's lots of different ways. So let's get started and let's build this thing. Okay? So to make this scarf wrap sweater, we're going to need a few things. Few of the usual things is some yarn. I'm using Lion Brand's Woolies Thick and Quick because I want to do it quickly and because I want it thick and warmer. And this is 87 yards a piece, and it's probably going to take me about 6 balls to do it. And this one is acrylic and 20% wool, number 6 bulky. And so you also need a hook that goes with your yarn, whatever you choose. And so with the thick one, the yarn asks for a 9mm, and so that's what I'll use for the project is the 9mm. I'm going to use the 10mm in order to make the chain. I go up 1mm, so if you're using a 5mm with your yarn, whatever you choose, then you might want to use a 6mm to make the chain, so that the chain has a little bit more give in it. I tend to chain a little bit tightly, so I go up 1mm from whatever I'm using on the project. That's what I do. So you need your hook, and then of course we need well, not of course, you will need a measuring tape, because we do this by, I'm showing you this by measurement, because you can use any yarn. So I started off my pattern with measurements. So you need a tape measure, you need some scissors, if you're using big yarn, big thick yarn, then you need a large tapestry needle, or whatever goes with the yarn that you have, and a couple of stitch markers. You'll need those. So that's what we need. And let me go over the pattern with you. So this is what I found on Facebook. And clicked the link and got a picture and got the product size and stuff like that so that I could create a pattern. And so I'm calling this, it doesn't really have a name that I could find. I'm sure there is one, but it's the scarf wrap sweater, because I don't know if you can tell from the pictures, but it's one of those just big scarves that you would wrap around a couple of times and around your shoulder, so it's a really thick, it's about 20, it's going to be about 18 to 20 inches wide. And then but there are some cuffs on the end that make sleeves for the sweater, so that it stays on, so you don't have the ends of the sweater, ends of the scarf just flopping around. So that's pretty cool. So, and then I got these measurements, the product size measurements, and it's in centimeters, so I had to go online and translate that because I'm American and centimeters don't mean anything to me. So it's 235 centimeters by 50 centimeters by 10 centimeters. And that translates to 92.5 inches by 19.7 inches by 4 inches. So I know that the 92.5 inches is the length of the piece, and the 19.7 is the width of the piece. So, and I think that the 4 inches, I don't know if it's the cuff before or after it is sewn together to make the cuff. So it's going to be a flat piece, and I measured my wrist and it's 6 inches, and I'm going to have the single crochet down here to make the cuff, and then a half double crochet transition, and then double crochet for the main body of the wrap. So I figure since the double crochet is about 3 times as long as the single crochet, you know, you chain 1 to turn for single crochet and chain 3 to turn for a double crochet. I'm thinking that if I go with the 6 inches, which is just the circumference of my wrist, and it stretches, and so or you can fold it if you have smaller or larger wrists than that. But you can go with the circumference of your wrist, and 3 times whatever it is. If you have a 5-inch wrist or a 7-inch wrist, you're still going to have a pretty good width. So if it's 6 inches, and if it's 3 times as tall, then the double crochet is going to give me 18 inches wide. So that's what I have. This is my pattern. And you'll see in a minute that I came up with 13 single crochets that'll give me the 6 inches, and 5 half double crochets to give me the 2-inch transition to the double crochet. I didn't count how many double crochets there were, because then I just went until I had 18 stitches left on this side, do the 5 half double crochet and the 13 single crochet to give me the cuff. So so that's what I did, and I think that's it. So let's get on with the project. So what I did was use a 10mm hook and created a chain that is 7 feet 8.5 inches sort of long. So let me see if it'll come out. I keep measuring it, and I keep getting it different because I keep stretching it just a little, and it's hard to get the same tension every time I measure it. So there's 1, 2, and you probably shouldn't stretch. Pull this up here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 feet. Well, it's a little over, it's a lot over 8.5 inches, but I was stretching it some, so I'm just gonna leave it like that. That makes it 7 feet 10 inches. You know, it's going to be loosely wound around your body, the scarf part. So hopefully that doesn't make that 1.5 inches. If it is 1.5 inches, you know, once I go in. So I use my 10mm clover. Yay, clover. 10mm to make the chain. And now I'm going to use a 9mm to start on the actual piece. So this goes back in here. Get my 9mm, this bright orange one, and start the piece. And the second chain from the hook, I'm going to make a single crochet. So just go through the top of the V, grab your yarn, pull it through, yarn over, pull it through. It's just a single crochet. And I need 6 inches of this. Go in your top of the V, grab your yarn, pull it through, yarn over, pull it through the 2 loops. Single crochet. The yarn's on the wrong side. So I'm going to make 6 inches of this. be, let me see where I am now. I'm at 5 inches. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, my dogs are alerted to something. I think I went too far. Yes, I did. All right, so I'm going to take out 3 of those. Let's see where we are. Yeah, that's about 6 inches. And now I need 2 more inches of half double crochet to be the transition to the full double crochet. Oh, which is yarn over. This is a half double. Yarn over first, insert your hook into your chain, yarn over, pull through some yarn, yarn over, pull through all 3 at one time. And that's a half double. Okay, I think that's it. So 6 plus 2 is 8. We should have a total of 8 inches here now. Looks like it to me. It's good enough. So let's count these stitches. And you can tell the half double once you see the 3 rings here. This one only has 2, not rings, but strands of yarn in the stitch. This one only has 2, so that's a single. So I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, lucky 13, single crochet, 13 single crochet, and then we go to the half double and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 half double crochet. So I'm just going to write that on my pattern. So that together makes 18, so I'm going to go to the end here and count off 18 stitches because we know we're going to have to do the same thing on the other side. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. That's where I'm going to put my stitch marker in the 18th. So that I know that when I get to this stitch right before, there's a stitch marker right in my way, so I'm going to have to, then I go back to my pattern and realize, oh, okay, so I need to do 5 half double crochet and then 13 a single crochet. And that'll be my other end of 8-inch cuff. Well, cuff plus the transition with the half double. Okay, so now that I have finished that, what I'm going to do is double crochet until all the way to the stitch marker. So yarn over, go in the top of the chain, yarn over, pull the yarn through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, go into the stitch, pull the yarn up, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So I'm going to double crochet all the rest of this, I don't know, 6 feet or so. A little less than 6 feet. A little more than 6 feet. I don't know. And I'll be back and I'll show you the other end. So I have reached the, well, 1 stitch before the stitch marker. So I do my last double crochet, and then here's my stitch marker, and so now I know that I need to do, I need another stitch marker. I need to do 5 half double crochets, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'm gonna go ahead and put this stitch marker back in before I lose my place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I know where my half doubles start when I come back. When I go, well, it'll be in. Anyway, I want to be able to put the stitch marker in so that I know when I'm coming off from the double crochet where to stop. And now I've just gone on and on and on and on with half double crochet. That's not good. Good thing I put the stitch marker in, huh? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I need 13 single crochet. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Now because we're on single crochets, I'm going to do just a single chain, turning chain, a single turning chain. And turn. And now I know that I need to do single crochets on top of my single crochets, half doubles on top of my half doubles, and then double crochet all the way down to another stitch marker. So we need 2 stitch markers for this project. Even though we think it's kind of obvious, I would just keep going and it would be crazy. So here are the singles up to here. And then I look and then I've got 3 strands right there. See the difference between, no, you can't see the difference between the single crochet and with the 2 strands. This is such dark yarn, you probably can't see anything. And then I've got the 3 strands there. So this is my first half double. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to put my stitch marker in my half double coming off the double crochet so that I know when I get there that I've got 5 more to do. I'll show you when I have a yarn change to the new ball. I'll show you how I do that. I'm sure you have your own way too, but I will show you what I do. So keep on going. Singles on singles, half doubles on half doubles, doubles on doubles. All the way down till you get to your stitch marker. Then you do your 5 half doubles, and then you have your 13 singles. Chain 1 to turn, 13 singles, 5 half doubles, move your stitch marker up, and then a bunch of double crochet. I'm telling you, a bunch. Till you get back to this stitch marker, which means half doubles and singles. Okay, we good? Fantastic. See you in a bit. All right, so I told you that I would show you how I changed to a new ball of yarn, and so that's where I am. I just finished my second ball of yarn and got a little ways on the 5th row. So with the 87 yard ball of the Thick and Quick. So let me show you. You take the end of the old one and the end of the new one and kind of line them up. Take the end here and just tie a knot. Just with that string, just tie a knot around the new yarn. So then you take this end of the new yarn and you tie a knot around the old yarn down here. Make sure that they're pretty tight. Then you just grab the old and the new and pull, and the knots come together. This is a Russian join cheat. So I'm not sure what it's called, but it works for me. Especially something that is kind of bulky, so that when you go in and you cut these off, cut them down pretty short so they don't get in your way, and tug a little bit, make sure it's going to stay, and then you just keep crocheting. So that's how I put my the new strand on. So I don't have any tails to weave in or anything, so I just go from there. So I'm going to continue on with this and check in with you a little bit later. Okay. Hey, I'm back. So I have finished, no, I haven't finished, but I used up my 4 skeins of the 6 bulky, and I'm not done. I think it would take, I said 6 earlier, I think it would probably take about 8 of those to finish. And I didn't have any more 6. What I had was 5, and I wanted to continue on with the project. So I have a Lion brand wool spun, which is, the color is coffee, and it matches the brown that's in this mesquite thick and quick. So I changed to a wool spun, which is a number 5 bulky. And if I was to follow the directions on here, it calls for a 6.5 millimeter crochet hook. But since I've been using the 9 with the 6 super bulky, when I'm changed to the bulky, the number 5, I just continued on with the 9 millimeter. So it makes it kind of a little looser than what this looks like, but it continues on the same size, so that it didn't shrink up. So that worked out. And so what I'm going to do is, to balance it out, I've got 3 rows of it up here. I'm going to add 3 rows of it down here, and then the whole thing will hopefully look like I meant to do that. So I have already changed out my stitch markers to the other side where I'm going to start crocheting. When I finished this, I left a nice long tail to sew up the sleeve, just to this stitch marker. So to sew up the cuff, you know. So so that'll be good. But I'm going to have another 3 rows down here to make it a little bit wider. So, because right now this is 5 inches, I'm going to end up with 6 inches for my wrist, and then this goes on my arm. Start over here, because I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and I want to leave the tail on the other side. So 1, 2, 3, and leave the tail on the other side in order to sew up the other cuff. Okay. So I'm going to start here and cover up the chain, and now I'm just babbling. So I'm going to start some more with this wool spun, and do the other side so that it matches this side, and it'll look like it was supposed to happen that way. Okay? All right. I'll see you soon. Okay, so I finished the scarf wrap sweater. And so I've got the number 5 bulky on the edges here, and the number 6 super bulky in the center, and I think it looks great. I think it's balanced out, and it worked out really well. And I'm just going to sew up the second arm. And what I did when I looked at it, I realized that the last row on the top and on the bottom have the same side that's on the right side. So I'm going to turn it inside out. I'm going to sew it inside out, and then have that on the outside after I sew it. So I am taking my long tail here, and I put it in my, there's something wrong with my wires here. Anyway, so I threaded my large embroidery needle, and I am going to just go in through the 2 loops. Go in through the 2 loops of one side, and the 2 hoops, the V on the top of the stitches, of the other side, and just pull. So I'm on the wrong side. I have it folded over inside out, and I'm going in through the top of this stitch, this V on the top of the stitch, and going straight across and going in through this V of that stitch. So I'm under 4 strands of yarn, I'm not just taking the back loop, to give it a little bit more security. And trying to see where I went in. Okay, so I'm just going to keep doing this until I get to the stitch marker that I left in, so I know that what I'm sewing up is all of the single crochet and the half double crochet. So I'm just going to keep doing that. So I'm getting close to my stitch marker here, and that'll be where my last stitch goes, because that's the last half double crochet. Go in the top of the stitch with those V's, and I've pulled it pretty tight, so I'm going to stretch it out a little bit, and I'm going to go one more time around these stitches and make a knot. And now I'm going to go under that knot and make another knot. And now I'm going to thread, I'm going to hide this tail. Hand in there. So I'm just going to go down the center here, pick up the loops down a little ways, pull it through. I'm going to change rows and come up under the stitches here. And that's 2. I always go 3 just to make sure that they're nice and secure. So I'll come back one more time. So it's 1, 2, 3. Back and forth and back. Cut that off. Turn this right side out. And we've got it. So that's one cuff to put your arm through, like that. I've moved the camera again. Boy, this piece is so big, I keep hitting the cords. So that goes on there. That's the length of the cuff. And then here's the whole rest of the piece. As I pull it through, I really like this color and with the brown on the edges. So I get to the other end and put my other arm in here. You can't see where I would wrap it around me anyway, so I'll show you that in a picture, or maybe start the video with it, with this on. So there are my cuffs, and here is the big scarf that gets wrapped around me a couple of times. So that's it. I hope you had fun watching that, and I hope that you try it. And thank you for your time. And we always have a choice, so please choose happy. Thank you so much. Bye.